Hello everyone, so today I'm gonna show you how to make Bolani. It's an Afghan baked pastry, but it's not really a puff pastry, and there's a filling inside it, kind of like a quesadilla, but the sides of a quesadilla are open, and in a Bolani it's not open. So what I have here is 2 cups of flour. This is the size of my cup. 2 cups of flour. I have about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. You could use regular oil. And I have half a tablespoon of salt right here, and lukewarm water. This is how much water I have, so 1 whole cup, but we will use the water to get the consistency of the dough to what we like it. So if you think it needs more water, you add more water. If you think it needs less water, you add less water. And I've also added half very little, half a tablespoon of yeast, because yeast will help it rise and be very soft and fluffy. And what we want the consistency of this to be is kind of like pasta, but a little harder, so that we can knit it, so that we're able to open it up and lay it flat and put the filling in and then cover it again. Okay guys, so this is the first step. I'm gonna add some water. You can make a hole in the middle and add it, but I just like to add it all around. Just make sure the water is not too hot, because you do not want to burn the yeast and the flour. So this is, I've put about half, like most all of the water, but if I need more water, I'll add more water. And why I use 2 cups of flour is because I have 4 potatoes. I want the filling to be from potatoes. So for 4 potatoes, 2 cups of flour should be enough to give you enough patties to make the filling. So now I'm gonna go ahead and mix it, and then afterwards show you guys what it looks like. But basically you want to keep on kneading it until you get that right consistency for the dough. And if you think that it's too watery or too soft, you can go ahead and add some more flour to get it to the consistency that you want it to be. So you don't want it to be too soft like pasta, but you also don't want it to be too hard like a quesadilla or like a pita bread. You want it to be in between and more to the softer side. So right now I've gone ahead and mixed it, and it's a little too watery for how I like it. So I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit more flour and beat it in a little bit, net it, and then hopefully that will give me the consistency that I want. You see, this is too soft because it's sticking too much. This is not what you want. You want it to be netted so that it perfectly falls away from your hands without leaving all this stickiness in your hands. So I'm gonna go ahead and add some more flour. So guys, now this is in the right consistency that I want it. I press it and it kind of bounces back at me, and it's not too watery, it does not stick to my hands. So what I'm going to do is just cover it up for about 30 minutes to just let it rest. And then in the meantime, we're going to go ahead and prepare the rest of the ingredients, and I will show you guys exactly what I will be putting in. Okay, so this is a very basic recipe. What you need is just 4 potatoes. I have already boiled them for about an hour. What you need is 1 garlic. You do not have to add garlic. Traditionally they do not add garlic. I just really love garlic, so I'm just gonna use just 1 little tiny piece here. And then here I have about 5 green chilies, because we like it spicy. And traditionally Bolani is made with chives, but because in winter chives are not easy to come by, the next best thing are potatoes, and they taste just as good, just as delicious, or to some people even better, because if you like potatoes, then hey, it's all for you. And then you just need table salt to your taste, and because all these ingredients we can eat it, right? They're not raw. So once I mash it up, I mix it, we can taste it and see, is it salty enough, does it have enough pepper, does it have enough of what you want. And you can also add other seasonings, but traditionally it's just been green chilies, the main ingredient, and salt, and I'll be mixing it all up in here. And if you have a potato smasher, you can smash it, or you can do the traditional way and just use your hands. I'm just going to use my hands because that will be the easiest. So I'm gonna go ahead, chop the green chilies, chop this into as tiny pieces as I could, and then add the salt in here, which I have right here, and then go ahead and start mixing it and smashing it, and then I will show you what it looks like after. So here are my green chilies and garlic chopped up as small as possible, and it's okay because we're gonna mix it all up so they might break up more. So I just wanted to show you guys that, and I have my bowl ready here. So there we go. What I'm going to do is try to chop these a bit by knife and then smash it with my hands. And here we go, guys, and here's my 1 tablespoon of salt. Remember, you don't want to put too much salt because we already have salt in the dough. But then at the same time, potatoes do suck up salt. So you could add just a little more than you would normally add. Just because potatoes do suck up the salt if you don't mind it being a little on the saltier side. And basically we just mix it like this. And at this point, actually, what I'm gonna do is I'm also going to add 1 tomato, just cut it up roughly after I have mixed this in really well, because what the tomato does is help it have a bit more of that tangy sweet flavor, and also retain some more water in the mixture. So basically this is what we're gonna keep doing until it's mixed really well. So I'm gonna go ahead and start mixing it more. So here we go, guys, I've mixed it in, and this is what the mixture looks like. So what it's gonna look like, the filling. And right now it's a bit dry, so traditionally the chive one you would not put the tomatoes, but because this is potato, we're gonna go ahead, and I have my diced tomato right here, very small. Try to chop it as small as possible, and I'm gonna just add it in my mixture here and just mix it in so that tomato water comes out, and that helps our potatoes to become a little less dry, because once you boil the potatoes, right, then all the water comes out from it, so it tends to become a little dry. So once you add the tomato, then it helps that water retention. And this is it. So our filling is ready. Now I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys how we're gonna make the little patties that we're gonna fill these with. And then at this point, because all of these things are edible, we can go ahead and taste the salt and pepper and see if we like it. You could also add some dried black pepper, red pepper, if you have it and if you like it, but I like to just keep it simple. So I'm gonna just leave it at the salt and green chilies, and that's pretty much it for my spices. So guys, this is what I will be using to roll out my little patties. And here I have everything ready, some water, some flour, and I'll show you why we always have it on the side. I have my board here ready in case we need to use it, and my flour has been resting for about 30 minutes. So now I'm gonna go ahead and roll them into little balls, like meatballs, a little bigger depending on how big you want the size of your patty to be. And then we go ahead from there and start knitting it out and start making into little paratha kind of shape to get the fillings in, and making it thin but not too thin, but also not too thick, because if it's too thick it takes too long to cook, which means that it will absorb a lot of oil. So if it's on the thinner side, it will cook faster and absorb less oil. So I'll show you guys that. So here we go, guys. I've made it into balls, little meatballs kind of shape. Some are big, some are small. That's okay. They don't all have to be the same size, and they don't all have to be perfect, because we're gonna now roll these out and go ahead and start making our little paratha to put the filling in. And basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna take some of this flour and put it on here. And why we do this is so that it does not stick, so that the flour does not stick to the rolling pan and also to this board that we're going to be working on. And basically what we're going to do is just take this, open it like this, and then take some of the excess flour away, because we also don't want it to be too filled with flour. And then we're going to take this rolling pin and start just rolling it out and making it as thin as possible and as thin as we like it, and that's pretty much it. And then we put the filling in. And what we're gonna do is that after we put the filling in, then we're gonna fry it in a frying pan with oil, and that's pretty much it. So I'm gonna put the camera like this so that you guys can see me opening this little paratha as much as possible, because it's hard for me to record it and then show you guys as well. And basically we're gonna just try to make it as round as possible. It does not have to be perfect, but a tip is try to open it from the sides that you feel are thick, and then just go like this to one side, roll the dough up. And this is where our flour is helping us, not making the dough get stuck to our rolling pin. And just doing it as thin as possible, but at the same time making sure that we're not ripping it, and just having little gentle pushing motions pulling motions on the side. We try to go like this, see if you can see it. And this is good to have a space that's open all around so that your hand is not bumping into anything, so that you have free space and range of motion. And basically you pull it in like this, and then you roll it in. And you see how it's opening it up? I'm just pulling gently from the center to the sides. And this takes about 2 to 3 minutes per paratha. That's why it's a little time consuming. So it's good if you have help or friends are coming over and families coming over. This is something that you could do together, because each person could do something and you just end up finishing it so much faster than one person doing everything. Like for me, this might take me about 40 to 50 minutes just to do all of these balls that I have, just because I'm only one person and I'm gonna keep on trying to open it as thin as possible, right? So the bigger the little ball is, the more time it's gonna take you to open it up. And until I reach this part, then I'm gonna stop, because that's the thinnest I can make it, right? Because that's how much I could roll it in. And you see how I'm always rotating the sides? I don't keep on rolling in the same side, because then that's gonna rip it. So a couple of more times. So the side is thick, so I'm gonna take the side in, and each time I'm doing a different corner, as you can see. And if you think that it's sticking a bit, like right now some areas are, like this part, I can go ahead and add just a bit more flour and just go like this. Brush it off, the excess flour, and roll it back in. And also, the thinner it is, the tastier it is, right? Because then it's more flaky. So that's why it's a good idea not to make the little balls really big, because then you get it to be thinner faster. And this is it, guys. I'm not gonna do this anymore because it's become really thin. There we go. So this is what it's gonna end up looking like a little pizza dough. And it's a little lopsided, but that's okay, because what we're gonna do is put the filling on one side and then cover the top. Okay, so I'm gonna put this here on the side, and I'll just show you guys how I netted out one of these flour doughs. So here I have it covered with plastic, because I do not want these doughs to dry out while I'm working on what I have. So I'm gonna take this one and show you guys how I did the process. I'm putting it here again. Don't mind, I have that there for support. So just taking a little flour, putting it in, and then just going in circles. The closer I come, you can't really see it, so I feel like the further I am, the better it is for you guys. So just like this. And then we don't want to push the middle part, okay? Don't push the middle part. You want to keep that part because the middle part is where we are pulling out, remember? So just net the outside. When you get a little ball in the middle, put your rolling pin and just squish it. Not too hard, but not too soft either. Just turn it around until you get it a little big enough so that you can wrap it around the rolling pin. And then just pulling it side to side. Okay, here we go. Just pulling side to side. And we're gonna keep doing this until we get it to the same size as the previous one, or the thinnest possible. So here we go, guys. This one is about the same size as the other one now. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the filling and show you guys how to fill it. And you can also stretch it side to side to make it kind of in the shape that you want. But if it's lopsided, don't worry, because we're gonna be filling it and it's not even gonna show after it's cooked. Okay, just try not to make the middle parts really thin because you don't want it to pop or break. So this is the general shape that I have tried my best, so don't worry, I'm not an expert either. This is actually my first time making this, although growing up it was like one of our favorite snacks because it's very time consuming. So it's just something that you can do on the weekend or like when you really have time and want to try some new snacks. So I took about a tablespoon and just gonna spread it like this. Try to make it as even as possible. Try to get the outsides as well. You can also use your hands. I'm using my hands. And so don't make it lumpy. Try to spread it out as much as possible. Because, you know, once it's frying, the stuff from the edges will come to the middle, or from the middle go outside. So you want it to be as even as possible so you have that all the filling in every bite. Here we go. So this is the first one. You see, you only fill it halfway, okay? And so we're gonna do the second one. You can fill it this side as well. So this one I will fill it this side for you guys just to show you. Just gonna try to spread it out as much as possible. And with potato, because it's starchy, it's kind of like you have to pull it. Here we go. Trying my best to spread it out as much as possible. Here it is. And what you can use for the outsides to seal it is the water that I have here. Just dip your fingers and just go on the outside like this, like as if you're gonna seal a letter. Just go like this. Outsides of here, we're gonna go like this, like we're sealing a letter. And then the most important thing for this part is to make sure that you seal it from one side to the other, not from the middle out, because then you're going to leave air pockets in the middle, air bubbles that are going to burst when you put this in the oil. So we're just going to flip this over like this. That's why I said don't worry about you making a perfect circle, because look, I'm just stretching it out to the shape that I want. And then what you're going to do is just press it from one side to the other. Press the ends and then just squish, 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 squish. Sometimes the excess will come out from here, and that's okay. For this, some people, if they don't want their hands to be doughy, then they can go ahead and wear a glove. But I don't mind it because I like to feel my food and what I'm working with. So here we go. This is what it looks like. Here's our second one, and we're gonna flip it this way. right? And also make sure what you're resting it on here has some flowers so that the bottom does not stick. And as you see, I'm just stretching this to meet this side because it's thick enough for me to be able to do that. I'm just gonna push this in just like this, and then from top to bottom, bottom to top. Always do it from one side to the other, not from the middle out, because you want to get rid of the air bubbles as much as possible. And then here we have it. Now if you flip the other side, voila, now it's ready to be fried and enjoyed, guys. So here we go. All this hard work for this yumminess, which you're gonna finish in like 30 seconds because it will be so delicious. So here now I have all-purpose flour. There were some little sesame seeds in the pan that I did not see, so it's okay, but it's always a good idea to wipe and wash your pan even if you left it in the pantry just washed. So I'm waiting for the oil to warm up, and then I'm gonna go ahead and put in my Bolonis to fry up, and then it's ready to be eaten with any sauce that you like, chutney, sriracha, salsa, you name it, whatever side you like it with. And it's as simple as that, guys. So here we go, guys. Right now my oil is pretty hot, so I'm gonna go ahead and drop this gently. And here we go. And I'm okay with just frying it one at a time, but you can also use a bigger pan and fry a bunch of them at the same time. And I would say leave each side for about 1 minute and 30 seconds to 2 minutes, depending on how golden brown you like it. Here we go, guys. Look at that golden beautiful color. So it was about 1 minute and 30 seconds, and then I flipped it over. So then here I have this ready to put this in, so that it takes out any of the excess oil, and then it's ready to be eaten. The warmer the better, trust me, guys. And with a yogurt dip, it's just delicious. Here we go, guys. This is my last one frying up, so I'm gonna go ahead, take it out, and then put it here to rest for about 1 minute for all the excess oil to come out, and then go ahead and enjoy it with some very delicious sides. So I'm so glad that you guys joined me in this, and I hope that you make it and show me your own recipes and tell me what you think about it when you make it and how it tastes. So here it is, guys, the beautiful looking but delicious tasting bologna with some chutney. You could have any pickled side that you like, or you could just simply have it with yogurt that Afghans do, so it helps cool the palate while you're eating it. And I hope you guys enjoyed following me making this recipe. It was my first time as well, so I was very nervous, but hey, look, it turned out pretty amazing. So guys, don't be scared to try something new, to make something new, and let me know how your creations go. Thank you so much for supporting my page and always following me. Bye.